what's up? Welcome back to Beauty for Ashes. It's your girl Toya, and I am back with a new segment for y'all. I'm just saying. So, listen, over the years, I mainly centered my channel around self help, mental health, relationships, and all that good stuff, right? And I'm still going to be doing some of that. However, I am trying some new things, y'all. It's a new year. I've decided to confront my fears, just live my dreams, just genuinely and authentically just embrace who I am, embrace my dreams, my passions, and all of that. So I know this may come as a surprise to some, but I've always wanted to be a sports analyst, especially football. I used to be real heavy into basketball, but after Michael Jordan and after Allen Iverson, I kind of fizzled out a little bit. I grew up in that era when, basketball was like basketball for real, where they had to play like every night. But at any rate, I have a huge passion for football, specifically my Dallas Cowboys, who torture me every year since the 90s. But we'll get to that later. However, I just love everything football, but I will primarily be discussing the Dallas Cowboys. But as you know, of course, football season comes to an end, then, I'm going to be talking about other things, music, current events, just whatever, And then, like I said, I definitely still will be doing my other Beauty for Ashes, material that you guys know me for. If you haven't noticed, I've kind of transitioned to YouTube shorts and the reels and the TikTok. I'm having to move with the wave of the future. I was stuck inside my box because, like many, I don't really like change all that much. So it took a little minute for me to adjust to the changes. But, I do see the significance in doing the shorter videos because, let's face it, we all have a short attention span. Unless it's something like you're really passionate about or really interested in, you may give a video 2 minutes, and then if you like it beyond that, you may listen to the whole thing. But it's people that I love that I may just listen to the first 5 or 10 minutes. It just depends on what I'm doing, what's going on. So, with that in mind, like I'm trying to adapt, that's been one of my areas of opportunity. So I'm being more adaptive to, what's going on around me. But anyway, y'all, like I said, I'm super excited to start my new segment. So let's get right into it, y'all. So it is playoff football, right? So this is Sunday. So the day is Sunday, January the 15th. So before I even get into any of the football stuff, as far as the playoff football, I just want to still send prayers and thoughts to Damar Hamlin. About 2 weeks ago, the world stopped. Like collectively, we all held our breath, just trying to make sure, that this young man was okay. I know me personally, my family and I, we were watching the game. And, I've watched a lot of football games in my lifetime, and I've never seen anything like that. It was so scary. I just, because you see injuries happen all the time, but you just don't know how significant they are. And it's just like, I saw the play in real time, but like many, you just didn't know what happened. Because honestly, I didn't even see the collapse until they went back and replayed it. I just saw the hit. I saw T. Higgins make the big play. And and I was rooting for Cincinnati, so I was just like hype about it. But then it's like, everything stopped. You see all these people come on the field, and I'm just like, well, what happened? Then when they showed it again, it's like, oh wow. So immediately, like I'm thinking like concussion, because we've seen a lot of the concussions, like with Tua and the different players over the season. So like immediately, like that's what my mind goes to. Like, man, I hope he's okay. And then you see the medical staff come out. So it's just like, it's starting to already feel like this is something beyond, because it's a lot of people on the field, and then you see the ambulance come. So it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And then of course they go to commercials. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in the kitchen. When I come back, the game be back on, because again, none of us at this point is knowing how significant this injury is. So then I come back and the ambulance is still on the field, and I told my cousin, like, oh my gosh, like this ain't good. You've never seen it where they come back from commercial. Typically, they're off the field or they have some type of positive update. You get the thumbs up. You get something encouraging. And in this situation, nothing of that. None of that was happening. So it was just like really a scary time. And then to know that, he literally died on the field, had to be resuscitated. And, thankfully for the gentleman that gave him CPR, the trainer for Buffalo, Like, oh my gosh, it was just like a scary situation. But needless to say, he's well on the way to recovery. He made remarkable progress, more than any of us probably could have expected. I know my family and I, we were praying, the world was praying, they was even praying on live TV. So, it was a whew. So God has definitely answered our prayers. He's been transferred from Cincinnati to Buffalo and been released from the hospital in Buffalo. So he's well on his way to recovery. So let's just continue to keep him in our thoughts and prayers. But yeah. So speaking of which, his Buffalo Bills play today. So I know he's gonna be there. Probably, I don't know about physically, but we'll see, right? But he'll definitely be there in spirit. So anyway, y'all. So yesterday was an exciting game. So yesterday was an exciting day of football. You had the Seattle Seahawks versus the Niners, and then you had the Chargers versus the Jaguars. And if you didn't see that game, no way would you think at 27-0 at the half that they will come back and win that game. But maybe so, because Minnesota did it. They was down 33 points. So, like I said, I never sleep on nothing in the NFL. Anything can happen any given day. So I do not put it past any team to come back from a deficit and win, because you hungry, you want it, right? But first game, Niners, Seahawks, I was very surprised, honestly, that the game was as tight as it was by halftime. But they both have good teams. But see, I mean, San Francisco is just so explosive. Offensively, they can just get it done. And defensively, they can get it done on both sides of the field. So, the fact that Seattle was hanging in there, I was like, okay, because I'm rooting for Geno too. I like Geno. I like his success story. I like how far he's come in his journey. So it was good, to see him, Pro Bowl status. Like, he's doing his thing right. So excited about that. But yeah, the Niners did what the Niners do. And, second half, they just took that game and, ran with it. So, McCaffrey, he a beast. I was scared of him for fantasy football because, he a little injury prone, but I'm not going to lie. He's a great fit in San Francisco, and he's killing it. Like, he's doing his thing. So shout out to the Niners, for advancing to the next round in the playoffs. And then, y'all, oh my gosh, like I said, the Chargers and the Jaguars. Like, I wasn't, I guess, as excited about that game or whatever, because I didn't think it would be as high powered offensively. But it turned out to be a real good game, and like to see Trevor Lawrence, because last season he was okay. He was all right, but this season he really is coming to his own, and he is looking good out there. Now, of course, he did have 4 interceptions in the first half, a stat he probably wish he can put behind him, but hey, listen, he overcame adversity, because most people, you'll get so discouraged, or even the coaches, and they'll pull you out the game. So the fact that he stuck in there, came back second half, played lights out football, and won the game. And of course, not just him, his team collectively, but the fact that he was able to overcome that and still come back and lead his team to victory, that was pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. So next week, it should be pretty exciting. Once we get all the parents, it's gonna be some good football next week. So going into today, we have Buffalo versus Miami here shortly at 1 o'clock. Then you have the Giants versus the Vikings. And then in the late game, you got Cincinnati versus Baltimore. And of course, tomorrow, we have my Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay. And that's pretty much what I'm here to talk about. But it's some exciting games today. So, I'm interested to see how everything go. I make some early predictions. I'm going to go with Buffalo, Minnesota, and Cincinnati. They may be obvious choices, but I'm just gonna say it here first. That's who I got. But by the time I drop this video, y'all gonna be like, well, I already knew. But look, it's 12:41. I don't know if y'all can see my watch, but it's 12:41. Game don't start till 1 o'clock. So those are my predictions. So anyhow, y'all, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Like, where do I even start? Oh my goodness. Y'all, I've been loving this team since I was a kid. Like, everybody like, how you become a Cowboy fan? Because, I lived in Richmond most of my life, and now I'm up here in Maryland, Commander country, And I'm like, it started with my dad. I've been watching football since I was a little girl, and I mean, it's just like, it was just me wanting to spend time with dad and my uncles, because they was always in there talking trash, watching football. And, I was in there every Sunday with them. And I mean, the more that I watched, I knew what a touchdown was, field goal and all that. And I really just got into the game of football. And so since little girl, about 7, 8 years old, up until now. I have always loved the Dallas Cowboys. And it's funny because with me, with basketball, I follow players. So like I said, when Jordan left, when AI left, and some of my other favorite players left, I kind of left the game of basketball. I still watched it, but just not as committedly as I did at first. But with the Cowboys, it's funny because it don't matter who's on that team. I'm just always a Cowboys fan, year in, year out. So I've been there since, the Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin days. That's as early as my mind remembers. But yeah, I've been there for quite some time. So I've been watching them, just loving on them through the ups and downs. And I say it really does feel like a horrible relationship, because it's like you guys pick me up and give me these warm and fuzzy feelings like, yes, this is our year. And then at the end of the season, I'm let down. It's a no-show. No call, no show. It's like y'all just break my heart every year. Every year since then, it's just like, it's just been a tough way to go. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard being a Cowboys fan. Every year, I'm just like, you know what? I don't know how much longer I can do this, but I do know for the rest of my life, pretty much. So I actually have to set my mind in a place like, you know what? Win or lose, it's just a game. It's okay, because as my husband can tell you, I can get pretty irate when the Cowboys lose a game. But guys, I'm going into this with an open mind. Now, I don't know what I wanted more, because if we had took care of business against the Commanders, mind you, I was at that game, and it's terrible because I didn't even post that much. That's how bad that game was. I got about 5 pictures from that game. Normally when I go to a Cowboys game, I'm snapping away. But this time it just started so ugly and stayed ugly so long. Like, I ain't even got much footage to even show y'all. I'll show y'all a little bit, but nah, that's all I got.
Let's go to Tampa.
Oh, this jump a little. But at any rate, you do not want to go into the playoffs playing like that. Like, they look absolutely crazy. Like, I'm like, what team is this? I'm like, this is the worst y'all have looked all season. Debatably since the first game against Tampa Bay. And what we got the nerve to do? Lose to the Commander to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You guessed it. And I'm like, y'all, I don't want to see Tom Brady on his worst day, especially not in the playoffs. I'm like, I don't care if he's 52 years old. I never want to see Tom Brady first round. But guess what? It is what it is. And that's what we got. So the Cowboys, I mean, their strength this whole season has been their high-powered offense and their dynamic defense. Like, they have really put together some good games where they look scary. They look unstoppable. I'm like, no team wants to see us. And then they have put together some boop boop badoos where it's like, dog, anybody can beat us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it. It's like they haven't all the way found their identity. It's like it seems like they have, because I watch sounds of the sidelines, and it just really shows their brotherhood and how they stick together and how they overcome adversity. And it seems like this well put together team, but now it has been some injuries. The defense, they have sustained some major injuries. Even Micah Parsons, he got his little club hand. It seemed like he's not all the way 100% up to par. And, like, they just are missing some key people. You got Leighton Vander Esch that, he got hurt mid-season. You got Tyler Badiash. Well, you got some major injuries on the defense. And then, offensively, surprisingly, we've stayed pretty healthy this season. Then you brought in T.Y. Hilton. So it's like we have the offensive weapons. We have an explosive offense, but I don't know what it is. Dak is addicted to Noah Brown. Why are you throwing to Noah Brown that many times? No offense to Noah Brown, but you have CeeDee Lamb. You have Michael Gallup. You now have T.Y. Hilton. You can spread the ball around. You can go to Noah Brown 2 times a game, but dude, like, spread the ball. So I don't know what agreement, what bet they got going on that we don't know nothing about, but they need to get it together, because Tom Brady is not playing with them. So, And then it's just like, Dak specifically, okay, that's the elephant in the room. Dak got all these interceptions. How you lead the league or tied for the league in interceptions and you miss like 5 games? Like, that's crazy. But it's like with Dak, it's just like he's a risk taker. He just like he doesn't play conservative football. A lot of people like Cooper Rush, he plays more conservatively. He fit the ball where it's supposed to go. He don't really take a lot of chances, so therefore his stats look real good. But Dak is just like he's fearless, which is a great quality, but at the same time it's like, dog, you have to know that these people, they know your patterns by now. They know your signals and what you're about to do. And they, watching film and they see you throwing all these interceptions. So you got to change some stuff up. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm real nervous about this game. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I think the Cowboys have a good chance to win it. I hope that they got all this out their system. But y'all, we talking about Tom Brady. And yes, Tampa Bay has not looked great this season. They really have not looked great. But these last few games, they've managed to run where they in the playoffs. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know which way this game is going to go, but all I know is, Dallas, their motto has been resiliency. That's been their thing that they've been leaning on. And, as Jerry Jones said, they done got their butt kicked. They done got their butt kicked and they got to suck on that all week or whatever. And so I'm hoping that puts some fire under them. I mean, just being in, the playoffs, wild card weekend should put enough fire under them. But what's going to differentiate this Dallas Cowboy team from the team of the last few years? Like, what are they going to do differently? Like, they are going to have to step it up offensively. Now, though Dak does have a lot of interceptions, I have to say some of them was not his fault. Like the Hendershot joint, like, dog, he had the ball, he bobbling, just like tossed it to the other dude. It's just like, and then like, the one in overtime against the Jags, Noah Brown, he's throwing to, and then that gets intercepted, ran back, pick six. It's just like, some of them was decision making, but some of them, like, your receivers have to step up for you. Your tight ends have to step up for you. They got to make the big plays. They got to run those routes. They got to get to that ball. Like, it's a team effort. So they all going to have to come together to make this work, y'all. And then the running game, all season it's been lights out with Pollard and Elliott. It's just like that 1-2 punch the whole season. So it's just like, but against the Commanders, like, we couldn't do nothing. And granted, they do have a good run defense, but I'm like, we could only get like 60 yards collectively? That's insane. Like, whew, I don't know what to expect, y'all. All I can say is that, I'm going to trust in my Cowboys. I'm going to trust that they're going to come together and get it done. I'm going to trust, Kellen. I'm going to trust McCarthy, kind of. Dan Quinn, like, I'm gonna just trust all them guys to pull it together and come up with a masterful game plan. So we're gonna see how it unfolds, y'all. So I'm gonna record my next video on Tuesday. I might even do some reaction during the game on Monday, but I'm real nervous about how this game go. I'm gonna tell you that right now, but I'm gonna predict that the Cowboys are gonna handle business and that for the first time in forever, we're gonna advance to the second round of the playoffs. All right, guys, so you heard it here first. So anyway, I will catch y'all next time, next video. Deuces.